Well, it's not the update we wanted. It's not even close to the update we wanted, but I guess they have to pacify us somehow, right? Come on, Hypixel, the Dungeons update was supposed to be out like a week ago already, or maybe longer, and now you're telling me it's going to be a month? So yeah, we're going to be going over Skyblock, update version 0.7.2. It's not that big of an update, but it does give the higher level players a little bit of a challenge to kind of pacify them, especially until the big update. I actually was on the server when it went down for maintenance and said that there was an update going on and all this, and I was so excited. I got off to let the update finish. I got on immediately as soon as I found out it was done, and was greeted by a message saying that you have to be VIP or plus rank. You have to have a rank basically to get on the server because the server was absolutely packed and they were prioritizing the ranked members. So what did I do? Instead of going and raging on the forums, I caved in and bought MVP plus. So yeah, I have that rank now. That's all nice and dandy. But anyway, it's still, as of me recording this, it is still maxed out, and VIP plus is the only people that are allowed to get on the server right now as of this recording. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the patch notes. So they start out by saying, hey everyone, while we're waiting for bigger content to be completed, here's a fun little update to keep you guys occupied. Read on and see what's new. Okay, it starts out by saying Slayer Quest. It gives a picture of this Revenant Whore right here with 400k health, and it gives you a timer to kill it. I've actually encountered this because I hopped on the update, of course, like I just mentioned, went down to the coal mine, and there was a guy fighting this, and it one-shot me. Absolutely one-shot me. So, they're pretty strong. This does pacify the higher-up players just because it'll give them something to do. But if we keep on reading, if you want to tip your toes into some really challenging content, or if you enjoy incremental progression and theorio crafting, Slayer is here to go. So basically you go into the basement of the tavern and there's going to be a new quest guy in there that gives you Slayer Quest, which is basically go kill like 250 spiders or like go kill a bunch of zombies or something related to that. Maddox is a new NPC who lives under the tavern. His quests are fairly simple: kill X number of monsters, then slay the boss. So after you kill the number of monsters that he requires, then you get a boss that is spawned in for you to fight, and you have a timer to kill him, which it says right there. As you can see, this guy is an absolute tank. He has 400k health and does 300 damage. Each of the 3 bosses today are split into 4 increasingly difficult tiers. The highest tier will be a challenge even for the most hardened veterans on here. We recommend obtaining the highest possible skills, best equipment, top potions, and some aiming skills before attempting tier 4. And I'm assuming this Revenant chestplate here is actually dropped from the Revenant Horror. It's like a rare drop, and it is pretty good. I mean, it really looks good. Moving on from that, they say we have plenty of rewards awaiting for those disciplined enough to reach the top, including new armor sets, fine-tune against each boss, epic accessories, brand new minion types, upgrades, arrow poisons, permanent stats, unique perks, tons of items for a cost. So right here it says for a cost at the end, so it's obviously going to cost a bunch of money, which is going to pacify a lot of the higher up players that just have their banks absolutely full and nothing to do with it. And up here it says it is a challenge even for the most hardened veterans out there. So from the looks of it, they're going for the higher up players that are keeping this game alive, which is all the YouTubers at this point that are just maxed out, have nothing to record. This will give them something to do in the meantime while we're waiting on the Dungeons update. And then we come down to the Minion Balancing, and this is an insane amount of information of nerfs and buffs and all this other stuff right here. I'm just going to go over the big points that kind of stick out to me right here now, but you guys can pause the video right now and read over this for yourself for all the little things. I'm just going to be covering the major points. They start out by saying some minions are strong, some are weak, some don't work correctly. Thanks to community involvement in the Minion Balance thread, we have the first Minion Balancing update. Keep in mind, balancing is an ongoing process. Give us some feedback. Right off the bat, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is buffed back Clay price from 2 to 3, but nerfed the time between actions approximately 20% each level down to 16 seconds at level 11. Okay, so Clay used to be able to be sold for 3 coins a piece, which was really good. This was before I actually started playing on the server, so I don't know anything about this, but a lot of the older players will be happy to know this because Clay actually sold for a bunch back in the day, and ever since the nerf, people are kind of drift away from it to magma cream farms, which I'm pretty sure if we read down a little bit farther, they're going to nerf that again. They've been trying to nerf it ever since it got overpowered. Buff time between actions of Sugarcane, Melon, Pumpkin by approximately 20% for each level, so those minions are going to be a little bit better. Made sure minions always collect mob drops, extended their pickup range. This is something that I have really noticed. When I was starting out, I had one pig minion in a pen, and that's how I was getting all of the pork chops to make a actual pig grinder, and he would kill a pig like 3 blocks away from it, and he would not pick up the pork chop. It'd just sit there and would despawn, which was so annoying because I didn't have the money to buy hoppers to put under him to pick up everything, and hopefully anyway, this fixes it. Nerf price of gas tiers from 20 to 16. That's big because people have been making a bunch, and I mean a bunch of money off the gas tiers recently. Buff quartz minion, buff flower minion, adding enchanted raw rabbit recipe. There's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't really matter that much. Nerf the price of wool from 3 to 2. What's so big about that? I didn't think anybody had been farming wool at all, so why would that be an issue? Enchanted items should now give the right amount of skill XP when collected. I have not encountered that issue, but maybe it is an issue, I don't really know. Slimes and magma cubes stop growing and instead spawn at random sizes. Okay, so this is hopefully going to be able to combat the issue with those mobs glitching through walls and spawners, which I know in the grinders themselves they glitch through walls quite a bit, so hopefully this will counter that. That's pretty much all the high points, but if you look back, they added a bunch new of enchanted items like enchanted seeds, enchanted rabbit, and I think there's enchanted cocoa beans now. I don't really know. I think I may have saw that somewhere. Moving on from that, we have the bank upgrades, which is just another way to pacify the higher up players that have their banks completely full and no room to store any more money. They start out by saying players will soon have interesting things to buy. In the meantime, banks are growing and it's time to introduce bank upgrades. So they're indicating that in the future they're going to be buying a bunch of stuff for the Dungeons update. But for now, they can buy some bank upgrades. So again, just pacifying the higher up players. Bank interest can now only stack up to 2 times in case profiles are offline for a very long time. Okay, so before your bank interest would just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And if your bank was completely full, you would come back to a ton of bank interest. So now it only stacks up to 2. That's a little bit of a nerf to the money, but overall I think that's a better idea. Bank interest now work based on the total amount of coins currently in the bank. From 0 coins to 10 million coins is 2% interest. 10 to 20 is 1%. 20 to 30 is 0.5. 30 to 50 is 0.2. And from 50 to 160 million coins is 0.1% interest. That is crazy. I had no idea that you could even hold 160 million coins. Moving on from that, they say on top of that we added 1% tax on auctions collected above 1 million coins. Okay, that is going to change a lot. Even though it's only 1% of a million, that's going to be a lot. Next up is Skyblock API. We recently released the Skyblock API, which will allow content creators to make very useful websites. By default, some of your stats are turned on or off. By default, you can now find those options and toggle them in your Skyblock settings. Okay, so it's like a new settings for you can move stuff around and configure to whatever you want. And finally, here we go. Here's their big excuse for not having the Dungeons update and why it's going to take another month to bring it out. Let's all read together, shall we? A note on future content. As most of you already know, we are currently working on Dungeons. Dungeons requires new technologies and features we never used before. And while we are making good progress, it should not come as a surprise that the very first dungeon will take a lot longer to create than the next ones. The closer we get to release, the more infos we will give you. The next Skyblock patch will be 0.7.3 and will feature more content unrelated to dungeons and is expected to release within 2 to 3 weeks. As always, thank you for playing Skyblock on Hypixel. Good job, Hypixel. Good job. Good job. This is not what we wanted at all, but I guess it's better than nothing. It says right here, the next Skyblock patch will be this and will feature more content unrelated to dungeons. So I might have misread that to begin with. The next patch, which is unrelated to dungeons, and is expected to release within 2 to 3 weeks. So you're telling me we're going to wait 2 to 3 more weeks on top of what we've already waited for dungeons, and the next update is not even going to be dungeons, it's going to be completely unrelated to it. It's sad to be honest because most of the big content creators are 100% maxed out. They have their Midas sword, they have their Pigman sword, they've done everything in the game, they just stream dragon fights day in and day out because that's all they have to do. There's nothing else for them to accomplish. And once they complete all the new quests that they added in this patch and go kill this little mini boss, which a lot of them are streaming right now as I'm recording this, in a few days they're going to be out of stuff to do and they're going to be back to square one. Then we're going to have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for the next patch, which is not going to be dungeons. It's just going to be another patch adding a few more things to keep us tided over until hopefully dungeons is released within, I don't know, another 4 to 5, maybe even 6 weeks. This really doesn't affect me in general just because I'm new to Skyblock on Hypixel and I have months and months and months of work ahead of me to be maxed on everything like all these other content creators are, so I'm good. I have tons of content to cover, but I really feel bad for all the bigger content creators. Just, they have nothing to do. They have absolutely nothing to do. I mean, it's kind of disappointing to be honest. But that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. I just wanted to go over all these patch notes real quick, and yeah, I mean, they gave us a little something to tide us over. I don't know what the next patch is going to be honest, the next update. It's just going to be another something small like this, I'm assuming, just to tide us over even longer till dungeons. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hit the bell icon to survive whenever I upload, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.